On to our agenda. Today, Cities of Migration looks at integration practices on enterprising cities, incubating immigrant entrepreneurship. This fall, Cities of Migration will be putting a special spotlight on municipal leadership, city leadership, and the good ideas, good integration practices that come from successful cities. We want to share good ideas about what local governments can do to build inclusive, resilient communities and accelerate the integration of urban newcomers. In this next hour, we'll learn about how city-led programs in Helsinki and Vienna are boosting local economies by providing practical tools and services that help immigrant entrepreneurs turn good ideas into business success. Immigrant entrepreneurs bring talent, energy, investment, and a wealth of innovative business ideas to the local economy. Enterprising cities recognize that opportunity and the entrepreneurial drive that it represents, and do what they can to support the many small businesses that contribute to a shared urban prosperity. During today's guest presentations, I encourage you to think about how your local government and city leaders can support these emerging entrepreneurs. And do remember, you can submit questions that you have for our international presenters, Dr. Gabrielle Tatzberger from Vienna and Dr. Eli L. Khoury from Helsinki during the question and answer box at any time. So please join me now in welcoming our first speaker. From the City of Vienna's Business Agency, we have Dr. Gabrielle Tatzberger, who is the Department Manager of Mingo Migrant Enterprises. In a very smart campaign, the Vienna Business Agency promotes the city as a hub for international business, declaring that Vienna's economy speaks all languages. Well, today we're going to learn how the agency's Mingo Migrant Enterprises program has made that commitment a reality for its immigrant entrepreneurs and their new business ventures. Hello, Gabrielle. I'd like to welcome you to the Learning Exchange. The podium is now yours.
Okay, thank you very much for the invitation. I also want to welcome you all around the world. It's quite challenging now. I would like to tell you today the story about Mingo, especially Mingo Migrant Enterprise. Before I tell you more details about the initiatives, I would like to give you some information about the city where I'm coming from. So Vienna is the capital city of Austria, which lies in Central Europe. Vienna has a population with around 1.7 million inhabitants. And the overall country, we in Austria are around 8 million people, so not that huge country. What's interesting is that more than 30% of the Viennese are foreign-born, and the three largest groups of immigrants we have here in the city are Germany, former Yugoslavia, and Turkey. Before I would like to go into detail to the Mingo Migrant Enterprise initiatives, I would like to give you an overview about Mingo initiatives in general, because this is important to understand in which context Mingo Migrant Enterprise is going on. So the Mingo initiative has two big strands. One are the services, and besides the services, we also offer start-up offices for a cheap price. Within the services, our target groups are company founders, young entrepreneurs, single-person companies, and company founders and small companies with migration background. And I just want to highlight three of our services which we have besides, so to say, or interlinked with the Mingo Migrant Enterprise activities. The first is that we have a startup coaching. We have a free of cost startup coaching up to 5 hours, where the needs of the client, so to say, are discussed. This comes from business plan and the legal form of the company till marketing questions, etc. So the coach in a face-to-face setting is discussing with the clients the issues and questions he has. We have the same thing also for financing issues. So also here in a face-to-face setting, the client can discuss all the issues relevant, which also he also gets or she gets an overview about the support systems, banking information, etc. And the last thing I want to mention is the Mingo Academy, where we offer 1 day and free of charge workshops in different fields like financing, marketing, social skills, social media, etc. And where also these small enterprises and startups can come and sign in and participate and also network between each other. The thing why I mention this is because Mingo Migrant Enterprise is also interlinked to these different services. For example, concerning the startup coaching, we also offer the startup coaching in different languages, and also, for example, within the Mingo Academy, we offer the workshops with bilingual trainers so that he also can explain the issues in different languages. But coming now to Mingo Migrant Enterprises, why are we doing that? There are a number of studies who came to the result that most of the startups with migration background have not sufficient financial resources and sufficient know-how. And that was why, and we as the Vienna Business Agency are here in Vienna in order to provide services and financing also for all enterprises and startups in Vienna. And we experienced that this group, so the migrant enterprises, do not come to us. And that was why we elaborated this Mingo Migrant Enterprise initiative. Because the migrant enterprises in Vienna are a main factor of the city's economy. You have to imagine that around 30% of the economy of the city of Vienna are done by enterprises with migration background. And also looking at the startup scene here in the city, we see that, for example, last year, 36% of all startup companies were startups with migration background. So this group is growing within the city. So also the City of Vienna saw they are contributing excessively to the economic development of the city as well, and that's why we thought, okay, we want to provide specific services for these groups. So what are we doing now is we have a consultancy office here in the Vienna Business Agency called Mingo Migrant Enterprise, and we try to deepen the personal contacts to the companies and associations dealing with migrant background. We offer this consultation in different languages, so the biggest groups here in Vienna are coming from Turkey, former Yugoslavia, and Poland, and that is also why we offer, especially in these three languages, this consultancy, but we also work with translators if necessary. And as soon as, for example, a startup or a company with migration background comes to us, they get all the information what the City of Vienna is offering, helps to find the right support system, but also interlinks to the Mingo Academy workshops with bilingual trainers and also to the startup coaching. So what and how are we doing that? I already mentioned that we have this 1 day and free of charge workshops with bilingual trainers. We offer currently German, English, Polish, Turkish, Bosnian, Croatian and Serbian language. And it's always so that in the beginning there is a summary in the second language, but the main course is in German. But questions can be raised in the second language. And we offer a quite wide range of topics, from financing, accounting, to soft skills measures, but also workshops for example, intercultural communication. And then we also have a cooperation with an education institute, the VHS Landstraße here in Vienna, where we offer only in English language, so to say, a basic education for company founders, which includes then topics like strategic management, sales and marketing, self-management, etc. We also try to network these different groups. We organize twice a year a networking event. We call it Mingo Migrant Enterprise Business Breakfast. We always choose a topic where we think that this is of interest for the communities, and then there is an open discussion and enough place for networking. What's also important is to know that when we started to get in contact with the different communities, we saw that the personal contact is very important. So we have now a network of stakeholders with whom we are very intensively cooperating. And that's the way how the information that these support services are existing comes into the communities, which was an interesting experience to see. So the initiative is a quite young one. We started in 2008. Also that you have an impression with which resources we are dealing. It's one person, the project manager, who is doing this, and we have one assistant especially for this field of Mingo Migrant Enterprises. And in addition, for sure, we use the startup coaching system and so on, the network. But so to say, the main focus of Mingo Migrant Enterprises are in the end 2 persons who are organizing everything, which is quite challenging. And so far we made 534 personal consultations. We also made a link to the startup coaching for around 150 startup companies. We also made the link to finance coaching for 35 companies. And in total we now have a contact database with around 1,500 contacts. In the end, I also want to give some learning takeaways, so what our experience showed us. The first thing is really what I want to emphasize is that we got the access to the communities through this direct contact. So there is a very proactive approach necessary. Only to give advertisement in the newspaper is not enough. We really went very actively to all the institutions and stakeholders and the companies in order to tell them what we can offering and ask them what they need. It's also important to offer these services in different languages. As you have heard, we cover not all languages. This is not possible. We have 90 different languages in the city, but we focus on the biggest groups, and where needed we work with translators, and this is something where our clients say that they are very thankful for. You also need, when you're doing this kind of flexibility in order to react, because often you get questions you can't answer, but then we are here also to find out what's the right information or where they can get it. And the person doing that needs, of course, a huge intercultural competence. We also learned that if we have, for example, a project manager who has a Turkish migration background, it's also important to then talk intensively with the Bosnian and Croatian communities, because there is already, again, one challenge for them to get in contact with this person if you see already in the name that this is, so to say, with Turkish background. So here flexibility and also this interactive role is very important. Yeah, and then linking up with other institutions I mentioned already. So if you want to have any further detailed information, please look at the website, please contact us. We also have a short information about the Mingo services and offices in general in all the languages mentioned here. Yes, so I'm looking forward to your questions, and I'm also very keen to hear what other cities are doing in this field and to learn what we maybe could include in our services. Thank you very much.
I'd like to thank you, Gabrielle, for sharing that those invaluable lessons with us, and I congratulate you on your success in Vienna with your two-people operation. That's extraordinary, the size of the network and the impact you're having. Thank you. So, and now we'll turn to Helsinki, another great city doing great things. I'd like to introduce you to Eli L. Kuri, who's the project manager of Enterprise Helsinki. Enterprise Helsinki is an innovation business counseling service spearheaded by Helsinki Region's Economic Planning and Business Development Center to help new immigrant entrepreneurs launch their new businesses with confidence. So we're very pleased today to welcome Eli. Eli, please step up to the podium.
Thank you for the invitation. I am glad to join you today in the webinar. As here, there is as I wrote, Helsinki was chosen the most popular European city among new entrepreneurs 2009. So the population in Finland 2011, 5,388,417. In Helsinki 2010, 588,549. Actually, foreign nationals in Finland 2010, 167,954. One half of the foreign nationals, foreign-born person and speakers of foreign language in the metropolitan area in Finland are located. Every 10th of the Helsinki inhabitant speakers a foreign language as the native language. The largest group was the speakers of Russian. Second, it comes the Estonian, then the Somalia. Actually, immigrants are more active entrepreneurs than other population segments. Also, there are often individuals who are willing to take a risk, and they enjoy to be an entrepreneurs. They have a contacts and language skills. Let's speak a little bit about the history of the regional business service for immigrants. Young Entrepreneur Business Service NUP started in the year 93 and as a part of the Economic Development Unit of Helsinki, City of Helsinki. And the NUP always serviced immigrants since the beginning in 93. Then the Regional Business Services for Immigrants as a project started in 2006 under the NUP Enterprise. In 2008, NUP merged together with another unit, Helsinki Uusyrityskeskus, and started as EnterpriseHelsinki. So the Regional Business Service for Immigrants become as a part of our new project, as the project name become an entrepreneur in Finland 2008 until 2013. So the Regional Business Service for Immigrant project is a part of EnterpriseHelsinki and cooperates with a city like Espoo, Vantaa, and service also immigrant coming from the whole metropolitan area. EnterpriseHelsinki customers, EnterpriseHelsinki are immigrants 37% and also is reflected on the number of the startup businesses. What our services? We do info. It's on becoming an entrepreneur in English, also in Russian language and Arabic language. Management consultancy for new and early stage entrepreneurs, also for immigrants, and we have entrepreneurship courses. We do the businesses service, we developing a businesses, we have a startup acceleration services also, and a business incubator service. Our counseling, Enterprise Helsinki offer a businesses counseling by connecting new companies with experts, which are free of charge, and also counseling all available in Finnish, Swedish, English, Russian, Estonia, German, and Arabic. Business advisors, all with experiences and working with immigrants. Enterprise Helsinki is a service and advice center where companies with growth potential get all the information. We help entrepreneurs on all aspects of establishing, running, and developing businesses, also from writing an effective business plan and applying for startup grant, also for a loan from Finvera loan or bank loan. Our courses, we offer a basic entrepreneurship courses designed for immigrants. First, sufficient written and spoken Finnish skill. They have to speak Finnish. The courses is held in Finnish also, but the key terms can be explained also in English if needed. The courses include 35 teaching days, approximately 7 weeks. Courses topics will include a business plan, marketing, and business economics, and cost accounting, etc. Enterprise Helsinki offers evening courses in English, which included labor and business law, business economics of a small company registration, and offline and online advertising. We have online tools for the business plan. It's named liiketoimintasuunnitelma.com. It's free to use online planning tools. We have 240,000 users per year and also 20,000 new business plan each year. Also, a new tool developed and in pilot use aimed for startup growth company with like a pitch. You can go for www.pitch.fi. We have also global network platform will be integrated in 2012. Managing entrepreneur and startup companies details, networking between entrepreneurs, companies, mentors, advisors, partners, organizations, and investors will be extended to all entrepreneurs and startups. Customer distribution. All gender distribution from 1st of 1st 2010 until 31st of 12, 2010. We have 3,185 customers, male 52.6, it's 1,674, females 1,511. So the company is founded after counseling 1,000. For the immigrant gender distribution, we have 860 total customers. Males are 559.5, females 40.5, and the companies founded are after counseling 279. The immigrants arrive to new city every day with a wealthy of innovation business idea. That's normal, but the thing is, how is your city helping new entrepreneurs turn good ideas into tangible and success? So there is here it's missing like possibilities and how to build the bridges and business welfare. And also we have to look for the future with optimism. Thank you, that shortly, briefly, and thank you if you have some questions or comments.
Well, thank you very much, Eli, for that excellent presentation and for ending on that note of optimism. We're very much aligned with that view. And, of course, when we look at success, as we have seen here today in Vienna and Helsinki, it's easy to feel optimistic about the work that you are doing. Thank you very much. We've now concluded the formal presentation part of our webinar, and we're going to before we open the question and answer period, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to have a poll. So after hearing from our presenters, now we want to ask the members of our audience for their views, and you'll see now a poll on screen, and the question is, in what areas should local government increase support to immigrant entrepreneurs? And there are 4 choices: small business loans programs, business counseling services, connecting to professional networks and mentorships, or understanding business laws and regulations. So we invite the audience to count themselves in, and I'll give everybody about 20 seconds to respond. And remember, voting is optional, and it's completely confidential. So this is just something that helps us get a register of what kind of ideas are out there in the room today. So I see lots of results coming in. We're going to give you another 10 seconds or so to finish.
Me, I need to give.
Yeah, everyone in the room. Eli, you and Gabrielle and all of our participants are now have an opportunity to respond to the poll. Okay, let's see. I think we've got. I think we're ready to broadcast those results then. So here are the results. We've got 37.9% agree that small business loans are the most important form of contribution, followed by business counseling service. 27% recommend business counseling services. 24% think connecting to professional networks and mentoring is important. And then the smallest group, 10%, think that the understanding business law and regulations it contributes. So that's very interesting. Thank you very much. And I think now what we'd like to do is turn to our questions, to some questions from our audience, and you'll just have to give me a moment to get the first. We have a number of questions coming in, and I noticed that a couple of them addressed. Just a moment, I have to. Just selecting some of these questions. So the question I have today is from Herman Nyamunga, and he asks, one of the main challenges our immigrant entrepreneurs face is access to business finance. And he asks, how does the City of Vienna deal with this challenge? And so why don't we ask you, Gabrielle, to begin our Q&A with the response to that question. One of the main challenges our immigrant entrepreneurs face is access to business finance. How does Vienna deal with that?
So I would say the challenge is for a migrant enterprise the same as for an Austrian enterprise. So there are a number of enterprises which face a challenge. But we have to say that if, so to say, an Austrian enterprise is going to the bank and then a migrant enterprise is going to the bank, there's often a clash of cultures. And I think they often have a disadvantage. What we try to do is really through this finance coaching, we also offer to go with the company founders to the banks and help them to prepare the information and to discuss this with the bank. But I have to say that especially the banks in Vienna now offer already also consultancy in different languages, so they recognize that this is a huge economic factor for the city, and that these are very important clients for the future as well. So there is a change going on since the last 3 to 5 years. And we, in addition, try to help, first of all, in order to give them an overview which loans and supports could be helpful for them, and then also to help to prepare all the information necessary for the banks or also for funds.
And Eli, would you like to respond to that question too on access to business finance in Helsinki?
Yes. Actually, in Helsinki, we have two ways of finance. Like we have a bank loan, for example, and we have a Finnvera loan. Finnvera belongs to the city for the state. It's for all Finland. And Finnvera loan, they can give a small loan from 3,000 up to 35,000. No guarantee needed. Only entrepreneur should write a good, profitable business plan and a good calculation for his business idea. And those together, with those together, he can apply for a Finnvera loan. And loan is for 5 years. First year, entrepreneur don't need to pay only the interest, and the next year he starts to pay the parts of the loan. So it's easy and good loan for the new entrepreneur, and especially for small loan.
That's very interesting. And have you had and in terms of having those loans repaid, what is the history of that program in Helsinki?
A loan program.
Yeah.
Or what? Yeah.
Yes, the loan program. Mm-hmm.
Yes. That program, that loan started before, I am sure about 6 years before, and it's named a small loan for a new entrepreneur and also for as a woman loan also. And it's a small, easy loan to start with.
That's great. Excellent. So we're going to move on to another question. Sarah Wayland asks about the success rates of the businesses started by your clients. Eli, would you like to respond to that since you, with your history going back to 1993, what sort of success rates have the businesses you've helped had?
Yeah, so the success rate for the businesses in Finland, usually it's after 5 years, 45% of the companies can stay alive. This is the target. But those customers who establish a company through our services, through EnterpriseHelsinki, target is 80%, but this year it's more than 80%.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations.
So, very good. Yeah, thank you. That's very good.
That's very good. How about you, Gabrielle?
Yeah, I have to say I have no specific data now concerning migrant enterprises, but about for the startup coaching initiatives we are doing. And here, as you've heard, around 1/3 of the participants of the startup coaching has migration background. And we made a first survey, and here it came out that 71% who were going to the startup coaching founded a company, and 90% out of them are still existing. Which here we have to be a little bit careful because it's not 3 years now. So, and we know that the critical years are 3 to 5 years. So I'm expecting that this 90% will decrease. But anyway, I was very happy to see that. And what's very interesting is that 1/3 of the startups had employees, which is also quite interesting. So they didn't stay one-person enterprises, but they had more than 2 employees. And 2/3 of our clients are really one-person enterprises after these 2 years, so to say.
Very good, very impressive. Well, I have another question now, this time from Marianne Anno here in Toronto with an organization called Connect Legal. Marianne writes, At Connect Legal, we provide free legal workshops and limited engagement, free legal services for immigrants. Sorry, I just lost my screen. I'm just...
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah. Should I start?
Sorry, yes. So she is asking about the availability of free legal services, or how the importance. Oh, here's the question. I'm sorry. We're having a few technical difficulties here. So Marion specifically would like to hear from both presenters asking, how does your organization help immigrant entrepreneurs understand the local laws affecting the operation of their businesses and negotiate legal contracts related to their businesses? So, Gabrielle, would you like to start there?
Okay. Within our Mingo Academy, we have workshops for law. So very general information you can get there, and the very specific questions concerning one company you can ask in the startup coaching. So there are the experts who can answer also questions concerning the legal form or how to write the contract or things like that. But it's very limited, I have to confess. And we also had already cooperations with lawyers who try to provide free of cost consultation, but this was also timely very much limited. So, but I think you can get the very general information about this issue, and you can raise the most important questions during the startup coaching. So that's how we deal with it.
Very good. And how about you, Eli?
Yes, we have a two-way with two lines for such questions. First, we arrange courses for ready running businesses in Helsinki, and it's in English. And a lawyer or such a lawyer, he can tell and explain. And those courses, it's for 3 times once a week, but for 3 parts. Second branch is that we have a member for EnterpriseHelsinki, and they are lawyers also. They can have a customers. First meeting, it's free of charge. Second meeting, and they can pay. But the payment and the charge, it's so little, not a lot. They can have, for example, 50% discount.
Very good. Very interesting. I have 2 questions now from Margaret Kappa. And the first one is addressed to Gabrielle, and she asks, who is financing Mingo, the state, the municipality, or is it a joint venture? That's a question we can also ask Eli later. And then she goes on to ask, she says, I understand Enterprise Helsinki is an EU-leveraged project, and how does that work, she asks. How large a role do Helsinki policymakers play versus the EU staff? So, Gabrielle, would you like to answer that question?
So the Mingo services is up to 50% co-financed through EU funds, and the other 50% are financed through the City of Vienna. The Mingo offices are totally financed through the City of Vienna, and most of the parts we are doing within Mingo Migrant Enterprises. So there is a big share of the budget also outside of the EU-funded project, so this is also the City of Vienna. So it's partly City of Vienna and partly from the EU funds.
Very interesting. And Eli, in terms of the financing of Enterprise Helsinki programs?
Yes. Our programs, as you know, that Enterprise Helsinki, it belongs to the Economic Development Unit of City of Helsinki. So the budget comes through the City of Helsinki. But this part, that immigrant service, it is work as a project, and they come from 2 sources. It's from that European support, and from the cities. We cooperate with the cities Espoo and Vantaa. So part comes from the European as a European support, and the other part comes from the cities, Helsinki, Vantaa, Espoo. This part for immigrants only. But all the Enterprise Helsinki, it belongs to the economic development units of City of Helsinki.
Very good.
So we have two sources. We have two sources, so we are in safe place. That means our services can continue. So if the project finished 2013, service will stay, never stop.
That's very good. So you're thinking of the future, looking towards long-term sustainability, because that's with the rate of demographic shift, this is very important. Yes.
Yeah. We think it is for long-term, not to stop after 2013.
Excellent. I have a question now from Evelyn. Evelyn has taken it from an email message here. The question from Piali Roy is, why are both of these programs part of a larger business counseling service rather than an independent service that might only available to immigrants? Gabrielle, would you like to tell us why you...
Yeah. From our point of view, because all startups in the end need the same information, so it makes no sense to prepare the information for specific groups. On the other hand, in order to enter the different communities and to reduce the barriers to come to us and to take these services, it is necessary to provide certain information in different languages. And this also helps that people come to us, first of all, and then also it's a more familiar way to deal with us if they know that we can also offer in their mother tongue certain information. But I'm convinced that in the end, the information needed is the same, and I would say also Austrian enterprises are in need of workshops for intercultural management and vice versa. So I think it's not only for one group that there is the necessity of specific information.
Oh, that's very interesting. So the suggestion that that even the non-immigrant entrepreneur is benefiting from the intercultural training.
From my point of view, so far there is still too less interlinkages between the different groups, the migrant groups, but also the Austrian ones. So this is also we try to foster, because we see that there could be good synergy effects between them.
Build a stronger business culture. So how about you, Eli?
Here in Helsinki, we think like that way, that we speak about entrepreneurs, don't speak about immigrant entrepreneurs. We speak only actually about entrepreneurs and what the entrepreneurs need. So if the entrepreneurs, foreigners, immigrants, or Finnish entrepreneurs, as we have in Enterprise Helsinki, we have both service for both immigrant and local people. So in that case, that way, our services is for both, but we have experiences about the entrepreneur services, and we have tools for the entrepreneurs. That's why we don't think to establish an independent service only for the entrepreneurs, immigrant entrepreneurs, I mean. So that way, and also on the other side, we want the entrepreneurs, immigrant entrepreneurs, to integrate in the Finnish society, to start to think in that way, and to build bridges between the local entrepreneur and the immigrant entrepreneur. That's our aim here in Helsinki. So we don't think about the independent service only for the immigrants, entrepreneur, but there is independent services in other ways, not in the entrepreneurs sector.
Yeah, very, very interesting. I have another question, which again, I think like the last one has sort of two prongs to it, and that question is, why was it important to offer some of the services, business counseling and advice, in mother tongue languages or in native languages? Both of you have, this is a very significant part of both programs run by Helsinki and by Vienna, and it'll be interesting to hear you comment a little further on the importance of that the second language program offerings that you have. I mean, you, Gabrielle, you talked about the importance of recruitment, of identifying the significance of this entrepreneurial class within the city, and recognizing that you weren't reaching them. So I would imagine that offering these programs in those second languages was part of the recruitment strategy.
Exactly. This is exactly the case. This was the first step, and in the second step we saw that it is really helpful because there are people who cannot speak German in a way that they really can clarify all the questions, and this was then the second step. And but we want to refer to Eli now because this integration topic is also here in Vienna a very big one, and this is also why we still offer many services only in German or bilingually, because if they want to do their business here, they also need to have a certain standard of the language. And if you learn now the accounting terms only in English or Turkish and you don't know how to speak them in German, it will be difficult also with the offices and so on. And that's why there is this combination.
That's interesting. And Eli, would you like to comment further on that one?
Yes, for that, you mean this
the role of
mother tongue.
That's right.
Languages.
That's right.
Yeah. So that's right. It's first, immigrant entrepreneur must know the local language. This is the point. But other point is everybody has a right to run a business if there is a possibilities. So in that case, we offer services in several languages, but the main target is the Finnish language. So, beside of that, we have also a guidebook. The name of that book is Becoming an Entrepreneur, and this in Finland. And this book we have it in 10 different languages. But the magic of that book is if you open page number 10 in any language, you can find it similar text in the other language, and this can help entrepreneur and can help the advisor. That way, but also that it's right, like entrepreneur must speak the local language, because if he don't know the terms, he can find a lot of problems, for example, in taxation or in other, for example, if he can receive some bills, something, he must know what it means and how and where he have to pay. This is the meaning of the language.
Yeah, it's really,
And actually language is a tool, and entrepreneur must use every tool what is available.
So there's two. It's an essential tool to doing business, and an essential service to provide if you want to, in fact, make sure those businesses can be successful. That's very interesting. We're nearing the end of our session. I have two questions from our audience that I'd like to share with you. One of them is a really interesting question about from Katrina about a situation in Canada. She asks, we have a significant number of existing entrepreneurs who are planning to retire in the next few years. If this problem exists in Austria or Finland, have you considered partnering immigrants with existing entrepreneurs with the view of them taking over the businesses in time? That's an interesting question. I mean, are your networks connecting new immigrant entrepreneurs with entrepreneurs in Finland from the host communities? And are they? I guess we're talking about sort of a mentoring role here as well as a business opportunity. for new immigrants? I don't know. Is your entrepreneurial class getting ready to retire? I'm not. This is an interesting question from Canada.
Yeah.
I can't comment on it.
Can I comment? Shortly?
Please do. Yeah, Eli.
Yes. Actually, we have in Helsinki. We have Helsinki Enterprise. Helsinki Yrittäjä, it's the term of it, and it's a membership it's a place where it's like a member. They go by a membership, and they are a member in this organization, and people, they can meet each other there, and it's for the Finnish entrepreneurs, enterprise, and also there is a lot of foreigners with, so they can have some networking. And also, we do a lot of network with them. So this is very good point.
Gabrielle?
Yeah, in Austria it's also a topic. There are many existing entrepreneurs who are planning to retire. Here, the Chamber of Commerce here in Vienna is very active. I don't know if they interlink it, especially with migrant enterprises, but it's a very good idea. Thank you. I will have a talk with them.
Oh, excellent.
To see if there is possibility to do that.
Great. And we'll have our last question from the audience. This one is from Hasmik Min Sayan here in Ontario. And Hasmik asks, he's from the local immigration partnership in Leeds and Grenville County, and his question is for both presenters. What are the main forms of startups established by immigrants? Is there interest for joint forms of enterprise, such as cooperatives? And what are the experience in that? Gabrielle, do you want to start there?
I cannot answer this question in this way because we have such a variety of startups. Some are working in cooperatives, some are working as a single-person enterprise, and it's also from the branches. We have everything from the shop and seller to the highly technology-affine and innovative startup. We have everything. So I cannot answer this question this way. I'm sorry.
We'll have to do a little more research. How about you, though, Eli? Is there a short answer to that interesting question?
Of course, I can answer it because it's easy in Helsinki. We think also on the business plan and the number of the members of the business plan and members on that company. So there is a possibility to establish like a limited liability company, or he can start as a private entrepreneur if it's a one-person company. So in that way, we can decide also, we can discuss together with the customer. Immigrants, they establish cooperative, which is more than 3 persons together, and IT companies. So they establish companies same as the local Finnish peoples. So there is no difference between Finnish and immigrant in Helsinki. They establish same companies, for example, if they need, but it's respect on the number of the member of the company. If there are more than 2 or 3, so there is other possibility. They cannot start as a one-person company. He must start as limited liability company or cooperative company. It depends on the form of the company and the business idea and what he wants to sell or service, what kind of service want to be.
Very interesting. Well, that's great. We have come to the end of our hour. I noticed that Herman Nyamunga, who asked a question earlier, has now identified that he's from Philadelphia in the United States, and he has sharing what they are doing within immigrant businesses. He's provided a website that I think you can now see on screen.
Thank you.
So I think what I'd like to do now is just close our question and answer period by asking both of you two short questions that we like to ask all of our presenters. One is, has your good idea, traveled? One of the things we're very interested in is the adaptability of these ideas and their ability to be shared by other people, for them to move from Helsinki and Vienna to other locations to serve other populations. So we're interested in whether your idea, the work you're doing in immigrant entrepreneurship is traveling, and we'd be interested in what the one most important secret to your success is, and what's the next big thing for each of you. So I guess that's three short questions. So let's start with you, Eli. Is the good idea traveling? And what would you say was the secret to your success? And what's the next big idea at Enterprise Helsinki?
So traveling of the entrepreneurs you mean? Yeah, it's important to travel, of course, but the secret and the idea for successful is that it's only one key. It's the language. Only to contact people, only to contact customers. If there is no common language between entrepreneur as immigrant entrepreneur and the local people, they cannot sell them products, or if there is a business to business also, not agreement come, no agreement coming. So it's the most important is language.
Language, and what's the next big idea for you at Enterprise Helsinki? What's your next project?
Now we have still, we don't decide actually what's the next project, but we will continue this project until the end, and we think like to find better services for the immigrant and to market Helsinki for the immigrant, to say for them welcome to Helsinki to do work and to build our country together.
That's brilliant. That's wonderful. Excellent. Well, we commend you, and we look forward to seeing that success. So how about you, Gabrielle? Tell us about, how Mingo may be traveling, what the secret to your success is, and what's the next big idea for Mingo.
So Mingo is traveling in the sense that especially also media is now interested in what we are doing in Austria. So I hope that maybe also other cities in Austria came to the idea to do something in this field.
Yeah.
The most important secret, I would say, it's also that we have a proactive approach, but also a sensible one. And then that if we have the access, that we provide professional information, and that we also tell them we are here to help you. So I would say this is a very personal approach, but I think this was one of our success. And the next big thing, I would like to also contribute more to a general awareness raising, also here in the City of Vienna, to show that migration is something positive with a big, huge potential, not used in the way it could be used, and also to show role models, to show young migrant people with migration background interested in enterprises. They are here and they are very successful, and so that we can show them what's going on in the city.
That's excellent. Well, I want to thank both you, Gabrielle, and you, Eli, for bringing truly fascinating presentations to us and for sharing with us your success, but also this wonderful vision that you each have for where you're going with this project. I am sure that you will continue to be successful. I want, again, from all of our people here at Cities of Migration and our audience, thank you very much. Our time has now run out, and so we will, on behalf of our participants, a great big thanks to Dr. Gabriel Tatzberger in Vienna and to Eli El-Khoury in Helsinki. I'd like everyone in the audience today to imagine this excellent work being interpreted in your city or adapted by your organization and how it might be changing your neighborhoods. We'd like to hear your stories. We'd like to share more good practice, so please stay connected.